Changing voice. It's something many of us experienced, even the legends. Take Elton John as an example. He still wows the crowds with his live performance, but anyone who's followed his music career knows his voice has gone through some changes over the years. We're not just talking about the surgery he had in the 80s, but the natural evolution of his vocal cords. How does the vocal cord system work then? When air passes through your vocal cords, they vibrate and create sound. There are different parts involved, like the vocalis muscle, the vocal ligament, and a protective mucous membrane. Think of it as a vocal dream team. Let's examine the major changing zones of the vocals. The wonders of puberty. It's a time of surprises, with unexpected cracks and squeaks in your voice, but it's all part of the process. Hormones start wreaking havoc on your voice during this time. During teenage years, your body is going through some major changes. Your voice is along for the ride. In boys, this happens between 12 and 16, and in girls between 10 and 14 years old. Before puberty, your voice box, also known as the larynx, sits high up in your neck. But as you go through puberty, it starts to grow and move down lower. Your vocal cords get in on the action too. They thicken and enlarge, creating those infamous voice changes. Let's fast forward a bit to the grown-up years. As we age, our voices may change once again, but it's not a universal experience. Even after puberty, hormones can still mess with your voice. The second major change in our voice happens when we get older. Our vocal mechanisms get older with us. The larynx, which is our voice box, and the respiratory system that power our voice start to show signs of aging. The joints of the larynx become stiffer, and those supporting muscles, ligaments, and tissues, they start losing their elasticity. Have you ever cringed at the sound of your own voice on a recording? You're not alone. It's a common discomfort that comes from a mix of science and psychology. When you listen to a recording, the sound travels through the air and reaches your ears through air conduction. It goes through your eardrum and tiny ear bones, and eventually stimulates nerves that send signals to your brain. But here's the thing. When you speak, the sound of your voice reaches your inner ear in a different way. Some of it still goes through air conduction, but a lot of it travels directly through your skull bones. This internal bone conduction gives your voice a deeper and richer quality when you hear yourself speak. So when you listen to a recording, it might sound thinner and higher pitched, which can be a bit of a cringe. That's not all. Hearing a recording of your voice can also be unsettling because it's like hearing a new version of yourself. Your self-perception and the reality of how you sound don't always match up. Your voice is unique and carries a part of your identity, so this mismatch can be quite jarring. Suddenly, you realize that others have been hearing a different voice all along. A study conducted in 2005 asked patients with voice problems to rate their own voices when played back to them. Surprisingly, the patients tended to give more negative ratings to their recorded voices compared to objective assessments by clinicians. So it seems like we might be our own harshest critics when it comes to this. The first human voice was recorded in France in 1860. It was 10 seconds of a French folk song. Voice recording has come a long way since then. Voice messaging, live calls, and live transcription integrated into cloud systems are now basic features. With the rise of AI, we will surely see more advances. Did you know that singing and speaking use different parts of our brains? Singing is like a right brain thing, while speaking is more left brain dominant. Sometimes after a stroke, when people can't speak anymore, they can still sing. Now, let's talk about some vocal superstars. There's Jill Drake from England, who holds the record for the loudest human voice. Her scream reached 129 decibels. That's as loud as an AC/DC concert. On the other side of the world record spectrum, we have Tim Storms. He hit the lowest note ever sung. His sound was so low that it was beyond what our ears could hear. To capture it, specialists needed a special microphone. Tim also has an incredible vocal range, 10 octaves. Did you ever get laryngitis and try to protect your voice by whispering? turns out that might not be the best idea. Otolaryngologists, those fancy doctors who specialize in ear, nose, and throat stuff, say that whispering can actually be worse for your vocal cords than regular speech. But hold on a second. Dr. Robert T. Sadeloff, a super smart otolaryngologist who also happens to be an opera singer, decided to test this whispering theory. He gathered a team of experts and recruited 100 people to be a part of his study. They stuck fiber optic scopes down their throats and participants counted from 1 to 10, first using their normal voice and then whispering. Guess what they found? In 69 of the subjects, whispering actually strained their vocal cords more. It's like they were squeezing their cords together tighter to produce those hushed sounds, which turned out to be more traumatic for their voices. 18 of the subjects showed no change, and luckily for the rest, whispering was easier on their vocal cords. So, instead of whispering, if you need to talk to someone right next to you without everyone else in the room hearing your conversation, maybe text that person. Now, speaking of protecting the voice, don't worry, there are ways to keep those vocal cords in tip-top shape, even if you're getting older. Lifestyle plays a role in all of this, so maybe it's time to reconsider some habits. Singing or reading out loud every day can give your vocal cords the exercise they need to slow down the aging process. Oh, and let's not forget the importance of hydration. And tone it down if you're getting into those video games or sports. Watch out for the loud yelling and screaming. It can strain your voice and mess things up. If you must yell, keep it short and sweet. Get warmed up. Before you go out there to teach, speak, or sing, give those neck and shoulder muscles a little stretch. And don't forget to hum a bit or play around with different sounds from low to high. Take it easy when you're under the weather. If you're hoarse from a cold or flu, don't push yourself. Resist the throat clearing urge. When you've got a postnasal drip or a pesky cold, don't go clearing your throat all the time. Sip some water or have a soothing cough drop instead. Lastly, share the talk time. If you've been chattering away all day due to work, let someone else do the talking for a change. Give your vocal cords a rest. They'll totally appreciate it. Remember, there's hope for our aging voices. If you're experiencing voice issues, it's a good idea to see a voice specialist, someone who knows all the ins and outs of the vocals. They'll examine your vocal cords and work their magic. You might be prescribed some voice rehabilitation therapy with daily exercises to strengthen your voice. Or perhaps you'll need some vocal cord microsurgery to deal with pesky lesions. And hey, if your vocal cords need a little plumping, vocal fold injection might do the trick. They'll give your voice a little boost. Oh, and did you know that your voice is unique? Just like your fingerprint, it's one of a kind. No one else on the planet sounds exactly like you. Never forget that you're special.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.